What would happen if you took Michael Jordan as a rookie, dropped him on the Chicago Bulls today, and simulated his entire NBA career? No interference, only observation. Well, according to our 2+ hour stream on Twitch the other day, fuckery. High level fuckery. We began by making MJ as rookie-like as possible, 21 years old, 0 years pro, and a contract that matches those of typical first overall picks that we see today. We used Zion Williamson for a base. We made sure he was in the starting lineup because who knows what funny ideas Jim Boylen would get if this actually happened, and we simmed away. As you might expect, he took Rookie of the Year quite easily, despite this being a talented class with Zion and Ja Morant. However, he posted averages of around 29 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 rebounds, but look at the percentages. 61% from the field and 36% from 3, which is skewed because he was barely taking 3s at all, as you might expect from rookie Jordan. Jordan also picked up All-NBA First Team alongside Giannis, Luka Doncic, LeBron, and Jokic. He became All-Defensive First Team, and he made the All-Star team. Unironically, he was selected by Team Giannis and not Team LeBron. The NBA announced on Twitter that he was a #great player. And despite all of this, he could not fix the fuckery that was Garpax/Jim Boylen. He got some very good offensive help from Levine, Markkanen, and just in general, scoring was not the problem. I'm not going to pretend that I know what the problem was in a 2K sim as to why a Michael Jordan-led Bulls team could not beat out the Orlando Magic or the Detroit Pistons for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Nonetheless, their 38-44 record is not good enough to qualify for the playoffs, and now NBA Twitter is losing their collective shit about how MJ couldn't even make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference that LeBron dominated for so many years. Luckily for Jordan, LeBron loses the Battle of LA in the Western Conference Finals, and Giannis goes on to win Finals MVP, so for the time being, neither of them wear the crown. Jordan in his sophomore year improves to become the second leading scorer in the NBA behind Steph Curry at 30 points per game. He also tags along 6 rebounds and 7 assists, and yet again is unstoppable from the field, as this time the Bulls go 56-26. However, this places the Bulls at 2nd seed, while Giannis again leads the Bucks to a 1st, allowing him to become MVP for the 3rd consecutive time. He racks up his usual myriad of all-team and all-star selections, and despite the strong showing, it's not enough for the Bulls to get more than one game on the daunting trio of Danilo Gallinari, Devontae Graham, and Terry Rozier. Jordan has now missed the playoffs on his first time around and lost as a 2nd seed in the first round in a 5-game series to a 7th seed. NBA Twitter has consequentially eliminated him from the GOAT conversation, yet LeBron James has made it to his 10th NBA Finals where he falls to 3-7. So while LeBron fans go about Jordan's playoff failures in his return, Jordan fans retort that he's still perfect in the finals, LeBron fans fire back that it's not better to lose before the finals, and this goes on for some time with no clear end in sight. And so now things are getting antsy. Jordan has punched Tom Satoransky in his face during a practice squabble, and he's turned up the heat on Garpax to actually get him something that he could go far with. The Chicago Bulls respond by signing Paul George, who had failed to make anything of his pairing with Kawhi Leonard in Los Angeles. But apparently this is PG after some serious career-threatening injury, because rather than being the Scottie Pippen everyone imagined him as, he plays more like LeBron's Larry Hughes. While playing 70 games during the season, he manages only 16 points a game, and there's no true pecking order as Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine actually average more points. This also cuts into Jordan's scoring averages, so it tampers with his All-NBA team selections. Yet Chicago is still relatively successful as they mark off a 54-win season, good enough again for a 2nd seed in the East. This time Jordan absolutely cannot fail because Tom Satoransky is no longer a valid excuse. Chicago runs up a quick 3-1 lead on the Indiana Pacers, only to lose that 3-1 lead and bow out in the first round to yet again a 7th seed. Both Michael Jordan and Paul George played quite well in this series, so there is also no valid excuse there. Twitter is absolutely ruthless as Michael Jordan has now blown a 3-1 lead. Yet LeBron James and Anthony Davis aren't even in the playoffs. As it turns out, a supporting cast of Mac McClung just was not going to cut it. But Jordan has now suffered consecutive first-round exits, and what was supposed to be an all-out war between Jordan and LeBron has now turned into a race to the bottom. And as much as I hate to break it to you, over this next hour and a half that we do this sim on Twitch, absolutely nothing of value happens in the career of Michael Jordan. He continues to put up Jordan stats. Paul George, after another lackluster year, leaves or retires or something. And despite never making it past the 2nd round, Jordan does not leave the Bulls. He re-ups. He signs another contract with them for 5 years. He wastes his career playing with Lauri Markkanen essentially because Levine leaves as well. He breaks his leg one season so the Bulls don't make the playoffs. Imani Bates gets drafted to the Pistons and totally wrecks what's left of Jordan's legacy because now Chicago Michael can't ever get past the Pistons. And then they also acquire RJ Hampton, who was apparently going to be a 30 points per game scorer. But what essentially happens here is because Michael Jordan is extremely loyal, in 2K he is also extremely dumb. The Garpax administration does nothing to make the situation better after Paul George leaves, and Jordan spends his career playing with bums. He does this until about the 2035 season, where I cut the simulation because by that point he was an overall 75, he wasn't even starting every game, he was coming off the bench, and I just failed to see how he wouldn't have ever left, or at least just retired at a certain point, because at age 37 he signed a 2-year contract to come off the bench of a terrible team. And I just figured there was absolutely nothing that could happen there. And so essentially his career turned into a lot of accolade padding. He came back to become an 11-time All-Star, 6-time first All-NBA team member, and he fell to the second and third team 3 times each. As he got older, however, he did pad on 6 Defensive Player of the Years, and so while we're on that point, that means Jordan would officially have become a 25-time All-Star, a 7-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, a 21-time All-Defensive First Team member, a 16-time All-NBA First Team member, however, no MVPs. As a matter of fact, in this simulation, hell, Giannis might have become the GOAT because he won like 7 MVPs and 2 championships, so NBA Twitter would have had a hell of a time with that one between Giannis, LeBron, and MJ. And on top of all of this, LeBron James ends up becoming the all-time leading scorer, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and subsequently retiring, where he handed the league off to his son. Bronny James Jr. won maybe 2 or 3 titles in this simulation, so while Jordan was busy getting knocked out of the playoffs and eventually sliding to the bench, LeBron's son was becoming the new face of the league. In the words and the principles of the great Gary Vee, Jordan fans would have had to eat shit in this sim. So all in all, 2K says that if Michael Jordan was dropped on the Chicago Bulls today, he would stay loyal no matter what Garpax did, essentially destroying his legacy as he continued to miss the playoffs, suffer first round exits, and never even make the finals again. But that's just what 2K says. I think that might have been the first and last single player sim I'm gonna do for my league, because you really gotta give this engine some room for error. We're gonna start dropping teams in here and shit. And so if you would like to see that happen live, make sure you follow my Twitch. The link is in the comment section and description. We simmed most of it live and it was really fun to watch unfold. However, I did not want to just drop the stream highlights on here or drop the entire stream on here. Obviously, I would never do that. But for YouTube, I like to give more of a summary of what happened, so I don't just have to go season by season showing you his dominant stats and him getting knocked out. And that's the way I'll probably do it on YouTube for most of these sims. I'll just give a summary. And so again, if you want to sit with us and watch it live because the chat was pretty lit, make sure you do follow on Twitch, Dom_2K, or the link in the comment section and description. And also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.